Tool support for management of testing and tests. This broad category contains any tool that provides support for managing the test process. Think of most of those tools as databases where everyone is using those tools either by adding content to the database or by getting reports from those databases to help taking decisions to direct the testing activity. Tools under this category are test management tools, requirement management tools, incident management tools, and configuration management tools. Let's talk about each one of them in detail. First, test management tools. Features or characteristics of test management tools include support for management of tests, for example, keeping track of the associated data for a given set of tests, knowing which tests need to run in a common environment, number of tests planned, written, run, passed, or failed, scheduling of tests to be executed, management of testing activities, time spent in test design, test execution, whether we are on a schedule or on budget or not, traceability of tests, test results, and defects to requirements or other sources, logging test results. Note that the test management tool doesn't run tests, but could summarize results from test execution tools that the test management tool interfaces with. Preparing progress reports based on metrics, quantitative analysis, such as tests run and tests passed, incident raised, defects fixed, and outstanding defects. This information can be used to monitor the testing process and decide which actions to take as described in the test management section. The tool also gives information about the component or system being tests. Test management tools help to gather, organize, and communicate information about the testing on a project. Test management tools interfaces or communicates with other tools such as test execution tools, incident management tools, requirement management tools, and configuration management tools. Everyone is using the test management tools, but usually test managers and test leaders are, and it's used during the whole testing process activities. Requirement management tools. Tools that help managing the requirements are also tools that can be very helpful in managing the testing process. Knowing the unique identifier of the requirement is needed. Knowing the priority of the requirement is needed. Knowing what to change it from the requirement is needed. It's also important to be able to trace tests to requirements and requirements to tests. Some requirements management tools are able to find defects in the requirements. Features or characteristics of requirement management tools include support for storing requirement statements, storing information about requirement attributes like requirement priority, checking consistency of requirements, identifying undefined, missing, or to be defined later requirements, prioritizing requirements for testing purposes, traceability of requirements to tests and tests to requirements, functions, or features. Again, everyone is using the requirement management tools, but particularly system analysts are. Incident management tools. We have talked about incident and incident management in a previous section. Again, think about incident management tool as some sort of a database to store, track, and get reports about various incidents. Incidents are used heavily during the implementation and execution process and used by everyone, but mainly are used by testers. Features or characteristics of incident management tools include support for storing information about the attributes of incidents, for example, severity, prioritizing incidents, assigning incidents to various people, status, for example, open, rejected, duplicate, deferred, and so on, reporting of statistics or metrics about incidents, for example, average time open, number of incidents with each status, total number raised, open or closed defects, and so on. The last type of tools in this category are configuration management tools. Configuration management tools are not strictly testing tools either, but good configuration management tool is critical for controlling the testing activity, as we have described before in a previous section. We need to know exactly what it is that we are supposed to test, such as the exact version of all of the things that belong to the system. Testware needs to be under configuration management, and the same tool may be able to be used for testware as well as for software items. Testware also has different versions and is changed over time. It's very important to run the correct version of the tests against the correct version of the software itself. Features or characteristics of configuration management tools include support for storing information about versions and builds of the software and testware, traceability between software and testware and different versions or variants, helping track of which versions belong to which configuration, build and release management, baselining, for example, all the configuration items that make up a specific release, and last, access control, who can read, write, check in or check out a specific version or a specific file.